everywhere, guys, so I do not feel very well at all, but we're gonna get through this. Okay. Everybody ready? Today we are going to be doing some investigation stations. So to start, I want to go over some safety. First of all, we are not going to taste the materials that we are exploring today. We're not going to touch our face, especially our eyes, after touching the materials. We'll all wash our hands with soap and water after the investigation is complete. And I'd like everyone to use caution when we're working with scissors and hammers. So I want to do a little hammer sample. Like it says up there, we're going to hold the hammer like this, not like this, not like this. And if this is my sample, you're going to hammer it like so, but on the table. So like that, just to be clear. Alright, now I'd like everybody to find a partner, ask them their birthday, figure out who's the younger and who's the older partner.
You're older, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there's different little groups set up, so there's 1, 2, and 3. So if I could have Marcia to move over to that middle table, that way y'all could be on that number 2 setup.
Right here.
Across or next is just so y'all are a little more spread out. I'm gonna move whoever. Yeah, sorry. Perfect. So we established who's the younger and who's the older? Yes? Great. So our older partner today is going to be the materials manager and the recorder. So for this exploration in specific, our materials manager will pick up and return the baskets, and they'll also be responsible for the inventory. Our recorder will fill out the exploration and explanation guide. So if your older partner, take note that your materials manager and recorder move those tents in front of whichever one you are. Just keep some constant reminders.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think of year.
And then our younger partner is going to be the primary investigator and the maintenance director. So for the primary investigator, you will explore all the materials first, but for this investigation, it is important that both partners explore for themselves. So after the primary investigator manipulates the materials, make sure the other partner does the same. And then the maintenance director, and if you have any questions, it will be the primary investigator to raise their hand and ask. The maintenance director will also be the younger partner, and they will direct cleanup and then dispose of materials afterward. You are also responsible for group safety and keeping time. I will also be keeping time, just to be sure. So if I could have the materials manager come pick up one of these baskets and an exploration guide. The groups are numbered by the sticky notes, so make sure you get the appropriate basket, and then the exploration guides are kind of falling off the table right in front over there. Those white baskets with the hammer. And then group number 1, I stole y'all's hammer. So you just need 1 exploration guide per group. Alright, so in the bottom of those baskets we have little materials mats. So if y'all can pick up your items and double check that all the spots are filled. So they're going to be our quick way of inventorying these baskets. You should have a copper wire, charcoal, foil, scissors, hammer, a Ziploc baggie. And then in the solo cup, do not touch that yet. We're going to just leave that alone, and then we'll inventory it once we get to it. That's okay. So is anybody missing any items? Everybody have everything? Perfect. So all the directions are going to be on your exploration guide. You'll have 6 minutes to complete the investigation. Remember that the primary investigator will be leading and handling the materials first, but then the other partner should do the same. And then the primary investigator, raise their hand if y'all have any questions. So here's duty reminders, and y'all can go ahead and begin. I'm going to start my timer now.
Are all the spots on your map filled?
Okay. Copper wire.
If you answer no, raise your hand before you proceed.
Describe the copper wire.
Take the piece of copper wire
Smells like
out of your
pins.
basket. Describe the
It
copper
is
wire using
bendable,
your 5 senses except for
shiny.
Record your observations below.
Do we know that word?
Bendable.
Bendy. Shiny. Smooth.
It's thin. It smells nasty.
Smells like pennies.
Beautiful drawing.
Does the wire appear to be the same throughout?
Bend.
Yes.
And then try cutting it.
Draw a picture. Okay, we did that.
How does the wire appear to be the same throughout? Alright, draw a picture of it and then take turns bending the wire over again. Try cutting the wire with the scissors provided.
Oh, this is going to be a task.
Okay.
So it doesn't cut.
Yeah, there it goes. Did it work?
There we go. Got it.
Okay, maybe I'll some other scissors.
Oh, it's
Oh. Run away, coppers.
Do the physical properties change and remain the same throughout the cutting of the wire? What is your evidence?
And it gets smaller, but the size changes, but
And it has the same
I just, yeah, I know you say that it remains the same
the
because
size and shape
it looks.
changes.
At this point, you should be moving on to your second material.
Black, hard, kind of rough. Square. It looks like a
I know.
burnt ravioli.
Pretty tall guys.
Take the piece of charcoal, carbon, describe the charcoal using your five senses except taste.
No smell.
It's
Sorry.
No smell.
you smell like it? He was like,
That's what I do.
Is it on my nose?
it's on me. Oh, it's smooth, like, but rough on the edge.
Alright, is this you?
You can take it out of the basket if you want to. I mean, leave it in the basket. Go ahead and give it a good
There we
whack.
go. You want
It says, take turns with your partner hitting the charcoal and have to provide it.
Oh. Okay, we'll clean it up.
it still looks the same.
Baggies are not.
It all came out of the same part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the baggy, bro.
I'll
I
just.
think it's all
Alright
the
guys, at
smaller
this point
parts
you
of
should
the
be
whole.
moving on to your third sample.
There's three. What?
Does the physical properties
Yeah,
remain
there
the
is a
same
back to the
except
explanation, guys.
It still appears to be the same, it's just in smaller pieces. Okay.
Bendy, shiny, wrinkly, light.
Take the piece
Noisy.
of aluminum foil out your basket, describe it using the five senses except for two. Record your observation.
It smells like sulfur, but I don't think that's supposed to.
This is not weird smell.
I actually don't smell anything, so it's weird.
I can't smell anything right now. So this is
Oh, you're
weird.
That works.
Is it smelling? It's shiny.
Take turns with your partner folding, crumpling,
How do you say wrinkly? With the E-Y or the wrinkly? What did you just say? What was the last thing you said?
Oh, I just need to read a question.
Does the aluminum appear to be the same? Okay, draw a picture. Now crumple the foil and tear it.
Freezer games don't need another minute? Alright, we'll do one more minute.
Okay, do the chemical properties change? Or do they remain the same after it? What is that?
What is there evidence of them remaining the same or fitting the same?
You may haven't. They don't look like they've changed at all in any way other than the shape or size. Like you could put it back in the original form.
Alright, do all the materials you explored in this investigation remain the same throughout being...
Alright, last couple seconds here, guys. Finish up your final thoughts.
So if you come up with a hypothesis, they're all the same. They're all made of the same.
After being cut or broken.
Alright, looks like everyone is just about finished up, so we're going to stop it there. Taking up pencils, materials down, eyes back up here. Thank y'all. So now we're going to run through the exploration guide. So, if I can have... Sarah Marie, how are you able to manipulate the copper wire?
We're able to like fold it, bend it, cut it.
Yeah, awesome. Do the physical properties change or remain the same throughout after you manipulated it?
They stayed exactly the same. The only thing that changed was the size because we cut it.
Yeah. And what's your evidence for that?
It looks exactly the same as it began. It's just a different.
Like the smaller pieces look the same as the
Yeah.
whole pretty much? Good, good. And Braylee, could you tell me the same about the charcoal? How are you able to manipulate it?
Okay, well, we hit with the hammer and broke it into smaller pieces.
Good. And then did the physical properties remain the same throughout after you finish?
Yeah.
And what is your evidence?
The pieces look like the whole, just small.
Perfect. And Anna, could you tell me about that aluminum foil? How are you able to manipulate it?
We bended it and tore it apart.
Good. And did the physical properties change or remain the same throughout?
They remained the same.
Awesome. So, alright, this copper wire, you said here you could bend it and cut it. What do y'all think about this plate here? Do you think this would be the same material as this wire?
Yes.
Yeah? Do you think I could bend it just like the wire?
Yes.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Looky there. And I bet if we had strong enough scissors, I could probably cut it too. But we don't. And then, same with this aluminum foil. Do you think that this can maybe the same material as the foil? Do you think that I would be able to bend it just like the foil? Crumple it? Yeah? Looky there. And we're actually going to try and cut this one. Let's see. Let me borrow y'all's scissors. Looky there. You can cut it just like that foil, huh? Just wanted to point those out to y'all that maybe these objects can come in different forms, huh? Oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Okay. Now, yeah, we need to switch.
Alright, I'm going to pass out an explanation guide. I only need one per group. And who's going to fill it out, guys?
Recorder.
Good job. Alright, so I want y'all to discuss with your partner what you think the answer from 1A might be. And when you're finished, go ahead and put your pencils down.
How would you define
All these
element?
elements, all of these materials you ever observed were elements, how would you define element?
Let's say like the same
An
throughout.
element is something that is the same, even if you change it,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
manipulate it.
it's, an element is something that stays the same. Even if you try to
Even through like physical manipulation.
Alright, remember pencils down when you're done. gonna call on Michael. Can you read what you wrote down for your definition?
We defined an element as a substance that is the same throughout, even through physical manipulation.
Does anyone disagree? Alright, sounds good. Let's move on. Alright. Can I get someone to read the formal definition for me? If anyone's volunteer? Anna?
An element is a pure substance that cannot be separated or broken down by physical or chemical means.
Alright, and can I get you to actually put this word on a word wall for me? Thank you. Alright, and then I want y'all can just shout it out, the 3 elements we worked with today. Anyone?
Aluminum,
I'm missing one more.
carbon.
Carbon, there we go. Thanks, guys. And that goes in answer number 2, so make sure you're filling that out on your Explore guide. And then for 1B, put your definition of an element. I'm sorry. And then pencils down again when we're done working on that. Alright guys, is everyone ready to move on? Take your time. Alright, so what are some definitions of some elements that y'all can think of? Or, I'm sorry, not definitions. What are some elements that y'all know of? Yes, Sarah.
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Okay, so this goes with number 3. If y'all want to go ahead and start adding, filling that one out.
Hydrogen.
Okay, hydrogen. Good one. And then let me get 2 more. Nitrogen. Nitrogen.
Manganese.
Ooh. Okay, good job, 6th grade genius. Alright guys, and make sure you have those copied down number 3 on your explanation guide. Alright, so now we're going to move on to exploring our red solo cups. So y'all can go ahead and dump those materials out and then check off the front sticky note of your list. See if you have all your materials and let me know if not.
Silver, shiny object. Fishing weight. Yellow object. Silverware. Got it.
Alright, so raise your hand if you're missing anything. Oh, okay, what are you all missing?
We're missing the fishing weight.
Okay, that is good. I have it right here. And we're going to go over that together and then I'll give you all it. We did not have more than 3. Alright, is everyone done checking their inventory list and had all the materials? Let's move on. Okay, so we're going to start by exploring the fishing weight. I have group 1, I'm sorry. And then do y'all think we could classify this as an element? I'll grab your fishing weight.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, how do we know?
I can bend it, and it looks the same throughout.
Okay. Does anyone know what element that fishing thing might be? Fishing weight might be?
Lead.
Lead? Good job. You and your family must go fishing all the time. So okay. So can I get you to come and write lead on, actually, hold on, we're going to do something else first. Okay, so I want y'all to add this to number 3 also, actually, on our other examples of elements. Alright, so we see this PB, right? What the heck is PB? How is that lead? So, elements are represented by chemical symbols, and PB is the one for lead. So, with that being said, now can I get you to come up here, Michael, and bring your fishing weight, and I want you to write the chemical symbol for lead on the bag, and then add it to the word wall with your fishing weight.
Put the fishing weight inside.
Yes. Please and thank you. Add that next to elements. We have decided that we can classify lead as an Alright, and did y'all make sure to fill out number 4? Elements are represented by a chemical symbol. If I do forget to mention in class, there is in the top right corner of slides that required answer on your guide. The number will be right there for you. If I forget to mention it. Alright, so let's look at this one. Does anyone have any idea what this might be? Yes.
Sulfur?
Alright, and do we know that sulfur is an element?
Yes.
It looks, what kind of observations can we make from this picture that lead us to know it's an element?
It's the same, even with smaller pieces.
Good job. Alright, so why don't you go ahead and can I get you to add, so the chemical symbol for sulfur is just S, so can I get you to bring your sulfur up and add it to our word wall?
Smells like bagels.
That's right, S on it.
Actually, I think it's just the bag in my hand, but it smells like blueberry bagels.
Alright, and be sure to add sulfur to your list of other elements you know. Alright, so we look at this one and we can't tell too much from it, but maybe looking at your own sample of silicone, which is going to be your shiny silver one. And does that seem to be pretty, does that look pure? What do you think would happen if we crunched it into a million pieces?
Stay the same.
Stay the same? Alright, so we can safely say that's an element. Alright, does anyone know what this element might be?
Silicon.
I'm sorry, I'm
Y'all are so smart.
Alright, can I get Jessi, will you bring your silicone sample up here and put it in a bag and add the atomic, or the chemical symbol to it? And add that to our word wall. Alright, and did everyone add number 3, or silicone to number 3? Yes. Alright, good job, guys. Let's move on. One more sample. Alright, so we know this is silverware, right? Do you think, go ahead and try to manipulate the silverware and do your element testing. See if you think that that is an element.
Can we bend it?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I'll try to bend it. How it's gonna be.
Is there anything that might make you think it's not a pure substance or not an element?
Well, there's a couple different colors on it.
Okay, we're gonna ignore this combination. It's beautiful. Alright, go ahead and add that one to number 3 also. Does anyone know what silverware might be made out of? I'm gonna call on Marsha.
Silver.
Beautiful. Okay. And our symbol for silver is AG. Can I get Marsha to come bring your sample up here and write AG on your baggie? So we classified that these are all elements, even though they look completely different. No two of them are alike, unless we broke them into pieces. So what are some other ways that we know that these are elements? Or another way? So we were able to, or we would be able to manipulate them, right? And their physical properties would remain the same even after we manipulated it. And can I get Anna to read this statement for us and make sure you copy it down to number 5, everyone?
Elements can come in many shapes and forms, but are always a pure substance.
Alright, and we saw that, for example, our copper. Look, it's in different forms, but it's the same substance. So we've seen this word pure substance a lot, so let's talk about what that means. Where have you heard pure anything before?
The Bible.
Is that a pure Bible? Is that
Jesus was pure. As pure as the lamb.
When talking about substances.
Ah.
Yes.
On my water bottle, it says pure water.
The water in Austin is not pure right now.
Alright, so pure water is probably the one that we've heard of the most, right? Like, that's our most profound one. So copy, make sure you write that down for number 6. Any of the pure substances we can think of. Alright, so I want you all to talk with your partner and come up with a definition that you think could work for pure substance, what that must mean.
Something that
Substance
only has
only itself in it.
right. It's only made of a
Like
certain
it's not a mixture.
element or compound.
Alright, pencils down when y'all are done.
Yeah. Substance is something which is made of only that material.
Oh, it's only made out of one substance.
Okay, can I get Braylee to read your definition of a pure substance?
Okay, we said a pure substance is made of the same stuff throughout.
Beautiful. Does everyone agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, can I get Michael to read the formal definition of pure substance for us, and be sure to copy this down to number 6B.
Material that has a constant composition and has consistent properties throughout the sample.
Beautiful. Can I get you to add this word to our word book?
Sweet.
Right, pins down when you've got it all copied. And then I want you all to make note of the consistent properties that you noticed when you did it, how the properties didn't change when you cut things. No matter what, it was still the same pure substance. Alright, I'm gonna go. Jessi, can I get you to read the first bullet for us?
Sure. An element is a pure substance that cannot be separated or broken down by physical or chemical means.
Alright, Anna, can I get you to read the second bullet?
An element can come in many shapes and forms.
Okay, and then Marsha, if I can get you to read the third.
Elements are represented by chemical symbols.
And Sarah Marie, if you could read the fourth.
A pure substance is a material that has constant composition and consistent properties throughout.
Is there any of this that does not make sense to y'all or that you have any questions about? Yeah, good job, Genesis. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and have our maintenance director guide our cleanup. I want y'all to be sure that when you're taking your final inventory that the materials manager writes their initials. And you can return it back to where you got it when you're done.
We don't have our spoon.
Oh, that's okay. You can
Write it down.
write that in.
What do you want us to do with the foil? I turned mine into a sword.
Put it back in there just like that. Unless you want to keep it, that would be okay.
I think it's actually back on this book.
It is. Your inventory list for the after will be underneath your original sticky note.
So do you want us to initial on the paper where it says is our map full or on here?
Either one is fine. I will check both.
Okay, cool.
That's our full.
Yes.
now that we have all of our baskets returned, I would like for everyone to grab a pencil, stand up, and then come over to this table and stand behind the chair that has a sample and an evaluation guide. And then don't do anything on the evaluation guide yet. I will cue you to begin. Make sure you have a pencil with you.
So pen work.
Yeah, pen and pencil. Awesome. So our first thing on the evaluation guide is we're going to go around to all of these samples and classify them as an element example or an element non-example. So we're going to start with the sample that you have in front of you. For these two images right here, like I said on the sticky note, you're going to draw them. But for the rest of them, they're labeled as granite, pen, tree limb, so you'll just write that in there. You don't have to draw the rest of the samples. So go ahead and put your name and do that first one. And then once it looks like everyone is done, I will prompt everyone to move clockwise one space. And if there's any that you have questioning at the end, I'll give you a chance to go back and re-examine the sample.
Okay, so you want us to write whether it's an example or a non-example? Like write the word?
Yes, just
Like
write.
for these two, you want us to draw it?
Yes.
What's
So
the-
like for granite, you'll just write it into either example or non-example.
So is a non-example one that's, so not an example of,
Of an element.
okay,
Yes. We're basically saying whether it's an element or not.
okay.
Alright, if y'all could rotate one space clockwise. And rotate. One second. I know it's hard to get all the way around that table. And rotate. And rotate. Rotate. Alright, go ahead and rotate. And rotate. And that should be the last rotation, right? Everybody's seen all the samples? Perfect. So y'all can go ahead and, if you have any more questions on ones that you examined or were unsure about, you can go back and hit those. Once you finish looking at them, you can return to your seat at the other table and then complete the rest of your evaluation guide. There is a back, make sure you don't miss that. And when you are finished, you can return them up to the table of where I am.